Today is a good day for AI researchers, enthusiasts, and open source developers around the world. This tweet by Dr. Yannick Kilker is the reason. And I read, everyone, we're excited to announce the release of OpenAssistant. The future of AI development depends heavily on high quality datasets and models being publicly available. And that's exactly what this project does. And you can imagine just what has been happening in the AI field in the recent times. We had these companies, that started saying, oh, we're open, we'll make sure that everybody develops, and we extend the field, develop it, and have everybody enjoy the fruits of this research. And then gradually they tighten the news, starting to say, well, we can't make money, then we will go bust, so we need to make money. And then eventually start going up after other people saying, no, you cannot use our data because you need to pay us if you're going to do that. So it's a complete 180. It is in that environment and with that in mind that I'm reading Dr. Yannick's tweet, and you can't imagine how glad I am that open source software, and especially Dr. Yannick with his group exists at this time in this day, and they're able to do this for us and for the future of artificial intelligence. And I thank him from the bottom of my heart. So the cartoon to the side is just I'm poking, making a joke about these other companies that are claiming that they have money, but money is never enough, so they need more. So that's why they cannot be kinder to the open source people. On a serious note, OpenAssistant has released the largest instruction following dataset to date. Instruction following datasets are the holy grail of the state of the art in language models, large language models. Without this, there's no state of the art. That's how I understood the literature, and that is why I'm so impressed by this effort. You see, Mr. Yannick and the group were able to generate 600k human-generated data points, covering a wide range of topics and styles of writing. This is very impressive and would be very expensive if done using experts. The only comparable model that I know of is Databricks Dolly 2 dataset, which has 15k data samples. This dataset is high quality, but volume wise does not have much volume there, and it was developed by one single company, Databricks, using just their employees. So there are limitations that about what they can do. They still have to do their work and so forth. So that makes the work of Dr. Yannick even more impressive, because these are just loosely, you know, uh, put together organization of just open source, and people all over the world. Of course, their numbers are higher, but the organization is more loose, and that they could do more than a company with employees and a budget and a schedule. That speaks volumes as well. There is a popular dataset called the Alpaca dataset, which is also instruction following, but that dataset was generated using OpenAI API, which restricts its use for any commercial use, and hence it's not free at all. So that's not one of the available datasets that one can freely use for any purpose. Going back to OpenAssistant, this organization is a miracle, and here's why. First, let's see just how the collaboration has been happening in time. You see, in December of 2022, the organization probably existed only on paper, and Dr. Yannick and a few of his friends, I think. Going by the Discord users here, you can see that even by December 30th, which is the end of the year, there are almost no users at all on Discord, And 4 months later, on April 21st, there are almost 17,000 users collaborating, communicating, and developing this state-of-the-art dataset out here. These network effects are nothing short of a miracle. The same effects are mirrored on the GitHub. These community-focused efforts have seen the members on GitHub rise from 0 in early December, mid-December, to about 23,000 stars in mid-April. That's the impact that I see from these numbers here that I gleaned from the preprint. And it's not just that there are people there. I want just to add one more data point here and commend Andreas and Yannick for this very highly professional work while doing open source. All the work is well documented in the preprint, which is where I got the data that I've been showing about the Discord, about the GitHub, and more data that we'll see later about how they collected the fine-tuning data samples. Of course, there's more information about the organization which I won't be able to go into, but just on this, even looking at the surface, you can see a very highly developed organization, even though it's just it's working open source, so most people are, I think, not paid, but the level of the results speak for themselves. Quite impressive. I think where open source goes above and beyond even what regular companies can do is because of the reach. That there are no walls between um, the open source software developers and users, even beyond, boundaries, countries, continents. That becomes an extra uh, network effect, which, when it works positively, gives just results that no company can reproduce. For example, if you look at the languages represented in the dataset, this is beyond most of the large language models that you'll see in the literature. You can see English is only 42.8%. It's less than half, which is rare. Most large language models have English in the 90s, between 70s and 90s. So what they call alignment is really just looking for, naughty words in the text. It's not about how the model can be applied, in different cultures, in different countries, in different time zones, in different climate zones. It's not that. The alignment is a very narrow definition of the alignment. To me, this OpenAssistant model is a template of well-rounded alignment, which I call broad alignment, and it represents closer, better, the world which we live in as it is, not as we pick and choose to represent it. And this wonderful dataset from OpenAssistant is now available on Hugging Face, and you can go there and inspect the various records and satisfy yourself that what you see is what you expected to see, and you can download it and use it in your application without any restriction. You can also get the models, some of the models, on Hugging Face. When I looked at it today, there was the Pythia 12 billion parameter model. The llama based model was just a placeholder for now. I think that will be coming later. Now, you may be wondering, how does this model with this wonderful data perform in real life? Well, in the preprint, they said they conducted a preference study for humans, the output of GPT 3.5 Turbo and OpenAssistant, and the preference was almost half and half, with a slight lead of about 3% going to GPT Turbo 3.5. Looking at this result, I thought, well, let me see what this kind of neck and neck result looks like. So I went to the site, registered and logged in, and tried a simple test. This is not meant to in any way characterize the model. It's more just to find out how well it performs instruction following, which is that when you give it very unexpected input, it doesn't get too unhinged. It just gives you an answer which could be is plausible, is probable, may or may not be correct. So that's what I did. I asked the model, how many screws does it take to screw a light bulb? See, it's not a meaningful question, but I wanted to see if the model gets confused or it just gives you a plausible answer and leaves it there. And I can see that that's what it does. And then I asked the inverse question, how many screws does it take to unscrew a light bulb? And similarly here, it gives an answer that, I mean, there's no correct answer to this question, but it just gives something that sounds like an answer. And maybe it needs more training to be able to see this kind of phrase always means it's a joke. How many blah blah does it take to screw a light bulb is a joke template. So maybe after a few more training sessions, you'll be able to classify this as a joke and reply in a more conventional way. So that is what I did. And finally, I want to request anybody who's looking at this video and you're interested in what OpenAssistant is doing. I'm not involved in the organization myself. I just think what the work they're doing is really important for now and for the future of AI research. And I really want to see them succeed. So if you're interested, please go to the site. I'll leave the link below. Register in the site and help with the collection of data, which is still continuing. Go to the Discord. You'll see a lot of interesting things there as well, and you can talk to the people who do all this good work. And that's all from me. And thank you for watching till the end. And till next time, bye.